What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I am Sean Woodland, being joined by Lauren Khalil. Lauren, how are you?
Great. Happy November. We are in the thick of the holiday season, boys.
Yes, we set our clocks back. It is getting dark at 5 o'clock now, and it is starting to feel like winter and the holidays. And featuring Tommy Marquez. Tommy, give us the update. Baby Watch 2024.
No news is good news, I guess. No baby yet. It made for my wife having an awesome time as Thor from Avengers Endgame.
Well done.
When he lets himself
go. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was great. And yeah, we're just kind of waiting. Things are still progressing. Everything, baby and mom are both healthy, so everything's all good. We're just waiting patiently. It's definitely our kid, like I said, because he's already late. He's not even born yet.
My God.
We're just waiting. So hopefully by this time next week, we will have a baby in tow.
Well, okay, we will. That is today's edition of Baby Watch 2024. I guess by the next time we record, maybe you'll officially be a dad.
That's true.
All right.
That's true.
That's probably going to happen.
Oh my God.
Because we're recording
so exciting.
early this week. And then we got the Rogue Invitational coming up. So I'll be getting on a plane in about 25 hours. And then we're going to have competition. And then when we get back, we'll see what happens. But we have a lot to talk about. Well, not a lot. Some big things to talk about today. Brent Fikowski hanging it up. Retiring after the Rogue Invitational. Talk a little bit about that. Events for the Rogue Invitational have been released, at least the majority of them. They look pretty cool. We're going to talk through those briefly. And then we're going to do what we like to do for our preview of a big competition. We're going to do buy or sell to see what we think about this Rogue Invitational that's happening this coming weekend in Aberdeen, Scotland. But first, we have a sponsor we want to tell you guys about. Really excited. Today's episode is presented by Box Basics. Great friends at Box Basics, your ultimate online store for cross-training shoes and gear. And in honor of the Rogue Invitational hitting Scotland, Box Basics is offering 20% off everything. Just go to shopboxbasics.com and use the code Scotland. Box Basics has a killer lineup of shoes. That's my I can do better than that. I can do better than that.
Wait, Tommy, are you cringing?
Don't cringe. That was okay. It was okay. I hadn't rehearsed.
No.
Scotland.
But do you know Tommy's biggest ick?
One of my biggest pet peeves is bad accents. And when people like really go for it and it's just not a good accent.
All right, I won't do it no more.
No, it's okay. I appreciate you trying because if it's a good accent,
hey, I have Scottish heritage. I have Scottish heritage. All right, I drive a Dodge Avenger. I drive a Ford. What is it? I drive a Dodge Avenger. Hey, or no, I drive a Dodge Stratus. That's what it is.
Yes, yeah.
All right, now that I've just messed up more than one thing. Anyway, okay. Box Basics has a killer lineup of shoes from Tier, Nike, Strike Movement, Reebok, and more. Plus, they've got free, and fast shipping inside the United States with super easy returns and exchanges. And their customer service, this is the best part, next level. Real people, all based right here in the good old US of A, with over 500,000 orders shipped. Since 2013, Box Basics has you covered. If there's an issue with your order, I guarantee it, they will take care of you. So don't wait. Head to shopboxbasics.com. Use the code Scotland for 20% off.
They've got some just drippy releases too. Like if you go to the website, click the launches and they tell you what's coming and they got like the latest shoes. It's fall. So they got like their new Haze Trainer collab that they did with Box Basics has the exclusive colorway. Mm-hmm. And Mojave is, they sent us a pair. I took it out to the pumpkin patch because it just felt like fall. I was getting some compliments. Yeah. And there's like a fall colored CXT2 trainer from Tier that's also pretty swaggy.
Nice.
And they have some good apparel. I really love their t-shirts. They got some fun ones.
Yeah, their stuff is
Hell
good.
yeah,
That Just Say No to Burpee shirt is one of my favorites. Anyway, the sale ends November 15th. So if you guys are looking for stuff for yourself, or listen, the holidays are pretty much more or less upon us. So get that shopping done early, and you can knock it out at boxbasics.com for your favorite fitness enthusiast in your life. All right, let's start with the first thing we want to talk about. And last week, Brent Fikowski made the announcement that after the Rogue Invitational, he is going to call it quits. And I think, like, Tommy, you had a little bit, you didn't know about it, but just a little bit of a suspicion after what you saw at the games.
Yeah. So obviously the games were just a huge emotional roller coaster, and even the end, with Brent being in the lead, you could kind of feel the whole like crowd really pulling for him and hoping that he would hold on with those back-to-back events, still finish on the podium. And then there was the additional memorial, the proper memorial for Lazar afterwards. And I think it was one that, the athletes took control of a little bit more so, Brent and Pat and some of the leaders of the group. And immediately after, I went to go chat with them a little bit, and they were both taking some time around like the little memorial that had been set up. And Brent, kind of lifts his head up and goes, "Hey, like," yeah, he turns to me, he goes, "Hey, man, do you know if?" And he started listing off some athletes. He's like, "If they're all still around, I really want to get a photo of all the athletes that were competing back in 2016." At the games. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I think I'd seen Sam Quant walk that way. So I kind of flagged him down, and a couple other people, and they were all the athletes were congregating there anyways. And I basically told him like, yeah, I'll give you a hand. And he's like, I really want this photo. Like, if you could like help. And there was an intent behind him that you're like, this is the kind of photo you take when you're trying to capture something at the end, It's like you get all the people that were there at the beginning and capture them there at the end too. And he alluded to it at one point. He's like, there's going to be some of us maybe hanging it up. So I'd like to get everyone there, since it was, I think he tried to lay some cover and was like, cause it was me and Pat's first year as individuals. And I was like, wasn't sure.
Sure.
But at the same time, it was a moment where everything was so heavy, and you just don't know where people are at. And so I believe they were able to get everyone there. And it was also like, I remember talking to him after, he's like, it also made me realize like, there are not that many of us left. Like from when I started the sport and how many people are actually left actively competing at the highest level. It's like a little bit of perspective. Like there was only a handful of them, between him and Cole Sager and, Sam Quant and Yona and Pat. And I know Travis Mayer was, well before that, but I can't remember if that was one of the years he made or missed, but there was only a handful of those guys left. And it, man, you're like, oh gosh, we've had so much turnover in the sport already since then. And it was an interesting piece of perspective as well. But I was hopeful that maybe he would want to compete a little bit longer. And it seemed like things were pretty cool at Waza SoCal. But, obviously he's a very calculated and planned out person. And he, obviously he wouldn't make this decision lightly. So it wasn't as much of a surprise, but I'm really bummed that I'm not going to be there. Lauren, we're not going to be there. I'm not going to get to see his last competition in Scotland for sure.
Well, let me just get to this. He shared this this is the Morning Chalk Up right here that posted this.
Great article too. He gives a lot of really good quotes.
Yeah. So it said, this became clear to Fikowski after the recent Tier Cup exhibition in Huntington Beach, California at Tier Wadapalooza SoCal, when he had the chance to meet one of his idols, Joshua Medcalf, the author of Chop Wood, Carry Water, How to Fall in Love with the Process of Becoming Great. Medcalf told Fikowski, quote, be relentless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. Fikowski took Medcalf's words to heart and realized what is really exciting him these days is his work with the Professional Fitness Athletes Association. So, I admire Brent for making this call too, because I think a lot of people have a tendency, athletes in particular to maybe hang on a little bit too long. And Matt Fraser certainly didn't do that. He left at the top of his game. I think Brent arguably, even though he's a little bit older, a little bit longer in the tooth, so to say, he's had some great seasons that he's been stringing together.
I mean, he's as close to his winning as he ever was. I mean, granted, it was under different circumstances this year with the games, but he mentioned something that, I believe in that article, and also a couple times behind the scenes, that like he's just, after all these years, he's ironed out a process with him and his coach where he really feels like he's dialed in like this is what I need. If this is what I need to attack, this is the time frame I need to attack it in, and this is how I go about doing and fixing these things, not just for like quick fixes to be good for a season, but to like accurately, permanently put those arrows into my quiver, if you will. But I'm like, it's hard to say because I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. Brent is not your typical CrossFit Games athlete. He is not your typical athlete in particular at a high level. There's a way that he goes about it. There's a way that he processes things. There's a way that he breaks things down and parses them so that he can be most effective in digesting information and turning that into something valuable for him in both of his training and performance on the competition floor. Another way that it is, some people go back and forth on this, but he is not the height and weight of a traditional CrossFit Games athlete. And, it says 6'2", whatever his height and weight is, but realistically, like him and I stare eye to eye, and I'm 6'3", and he's every bit of 220, 225, maybe 230 if he's running a little heavy on a day where he doesn't need to be as lean. And that is a significant departure away from the 5'10", 195 averages that we have seen over the course of the last 15 years at the CrossFit Games. Now, does that make his accomplishments any bigger or less than anyone else? No. But what I think it does is really paints a picture of who Brent is as an athlete and what he has put into the sport to make himself better and to prove to others what taking that low trajectory at a distant horizon, to steal a quote from Roy McKernan, can do for you both from a competitive standpoint and from a methodology standpoint, because that's really what we're all trying to do too, is find better versions of ourselves. And he has consistently found holes in his game, been unafraid to look them in the eye, and then take a path that doesn't necessarily get him results right away, but eventually will get him to where he wants in a way that's, like I said, lasting. And for someone that is also tall and heavy relative to other people in the gym, that has always been an inspiration and a motivating factor for me. I used to joke that him, Asia Bartow, and Spencer Hendel took away all of my excuses, right?
Yeah.
That I could say, oh, you're shorter and faster on these things, and that's why I'm not as good at these things that I want to be. But then I look at them and they didn't take those excuses, and then they were generous in the roadmap that they provided to others to do that as well. And Brent is no different. And I think the fact that his path to the CrossFit Games was not this like pretty clear linear road, and it was this winding, bumpy, jagged road that almost came into an end before it really even started, I think is a testament to him as an athlete. And I know I'm kind of going in on this a little bit, but you go back to 2013, he finished 6th in Australia, really young, was not a ton of expectations in the sport, and that kind of lit the fire for him. A year later, he comes back in 2014, back home in Canada West. They only take 2 athletes to the games that year. He enters the final event in second. He's got a 7-ish, 6-ish point lead over Tyson Takasaki, which at that point you had the points per placing scoring system, which was a pretty significant lead, given the fact that Canada West was really dense at the top, and you didn't see a lot of finishes from the top athletes outside of the top 5 or 6. Brent basically gets to the final sets of overhead squats comfortably in a pace that will get him. He hits the wall. He comes undone on the last few overhead squats. It just so happens that Tyson Takasaki wins that event and knocks him out of the spot. He comes 1 point away from qualifying for the CrossFit Games, 5 or less points, whatever you want to call it in today's system. You come back a year later and you're like, okay, well, this guy's got potential. We talked about him. He did great in the Open. He had some really high, important performances. He finishes the 2015 West Regional, the first year we condensed that format. He finishes 7th. He's 2 points away from 5th. 2 points, less than that 1 point placing, relatively speaking, than a year prior. And he was 6 points away from 2nd. 6 points separated 2nd through 7th in that event. It was one of the most chaotic finishes that I've ever seen. He entered the final event in 2nd place overall. He was actually only 5 points back of Tyson Takasaki for 1st. So he was one of the 2 guys that were leading the way going into that final event. He finishes 14th, and it just so happens that the next 5 guys behind him on the leaderboard all finish in 6th or better, including Cole Sager, who wins it. Just miraculous situation for some of those athletes to upend him and beat Brent. He misses out by a couple points, and really, like, a few seconds here or there, the difference between him going to the games. And another heartbreaking thing. And I remember just talking to him about that and him just really questioning whether or not he had a future in the sport, because some of the deficiencies that he had taken the long route with didn't seem like they were starting to pile up.
Do you remember that shot we had of him? I'll never forget that shot. It was back in the athlete warm-up area. He was in one of those lounges and he just had his head in his hands, and his wife was there with him, or girlfriend at the time. I don't think he was married, but I think about that all the time with him and how heartbreaking it was to see that. So I'm sorry.
It was an athlete at the absolute lowest of lows. Everything you had left on the floor, you'd come so close the year before, and a full year of training, all the effort in and out of the gym. And where did it get you? The exact same spot. And arguably even more heartbreaking given the fractional differences between basically all of those athletes. And it was juxtaposed with this amazing comeback that Cole Sager that got so much attention, that was lauded so heavily. And we forget sometimes that has to come at the cost of someone, and that's just what sports are. But it really ultimately led to something even better. You come back to 2016, he doesn't just qualify, he wins handily, blows the doors off of that region.
4 event wins that year at the games.
Yeah, carries it to the games. He wins 4 events, sets a record for a rookie winning events at the CrossFit Games. And we joked before on Q&A, if BKG had a little more hustle in his step to the finish line, Brent would have been on the podium too, instead of Pat. But really, like, without even touching on the specifics of the games, since that moment, since he qualified for the games, and a few of my numbers might be a little bit off because some of the major off-season competitions I wasn't able to track down results for, but 22 of 24 live events that he showed up into in person, I would say elite events, regionals, semifinals, sanctionals, Wadapalooza, Dubai, those types of events or higher. 22 of 24, he finished in the top 5 over the next 8 years. 17 of the 24, he finished on the podium. 9 wins in that run, including wins in Dubai, in Egypt, at Wadapalooza on a team with PB&J, the Granite Games, the Asia CrossFit Championships in Shanghai, the West Coast Regional 3 times in a row after missing twice. He shows up to a live competition. He is absolutely someone that you should be considering to win, even more so to get on the podium and potentially, win a couple of events. And he's almost a lock, over 92% inside the top 5. Wow. I don't know of very many athletes outside of maybe Matt Fraser and Tia Toomey that have a hit rate anything close to that. And the only really 2 blemishes are two runs at the games in person, 2019, where he had just a disastrous handstand walk snafu.
Yeah, but I think that's a year that everyone puts an asterisk by anyway.
And 2022, when it just didn't seem like everything came together the way they had a year prior, when he finished on the podium. He's all done that, like I said, with the things, to consider before, that he has been longer, heavier, taller, whatever you want to be in a sport that doesn't necessarily on average value that. And he has done so in ways that have like, I think, inspired a lot of people to look at the sport differently. And I credit my ability to do muscle ups with him. I watched him do muscle ups a certain way, and I realized some of the technique around his turnover and everything like that as a big guy. And I'm like, there's no reason why I can't at least dumb that down and do that.
Yeah.
And that has had a real impact for me and in my pride in being able to do something I couldn't do before. And I'm sure that there are hundreds and thousands of people that have similar stories because of what Brent's done. And I can't talk enough, honestly, about Brent's impact on the sport, the impact he's had on me, the conversations that I've had, and how he's left me as a better person from those conversations. And I'm equally excited to see how he betters the sport outside of the realm of competition, but I'm also bummed that we won't get to see another big guy out there.
Well, Lauren,
but I think that's also,
go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's also a good point, though. The way that he's walking away from the competitive sport of CrossFit, I think, is one of the most admirable things. We talked about how his coach said they finally figured out the key to some of his successes and him getting better and figuring out how to make CrossFit work for him when, like you said, his body type is not the typical body type that wins events or stands on the podium as many times as you just said. But the fact that he's getting better and has finally found the key to success, but he sees a bigger calling. And there's not, in my opinion, there's not anybody who is more perfect to, I think they voted him in as the president of the PFAA. If you know Brent, he's organized, he's data driven. When he puts his head down and wants to do something, he will do it and make it happen. And the fact that he's saying that he wants to leave the sport better than the way he found it, and it makes me really excited to see where he can take the PFAA and the sport and the professionalism, because I think that's something that they've really been lacking. All of the people on the board pretty much are competitive athletes. You only have so much time to focus on some of those little nuances. And I think putting his energy now into this, which is where he feels is most important for him, is really admirable, just from a human aspect.
Yeah. And this is all I'll add to that because I have nothing to add. I think you guys summed it up perfectly. Is that when you look at athletes like Matt Fraser and Rich Froning, who had such a huge impact on the sport, but then you look at the impact that they've had beyond that. Rich building a brand with Mayhem, and Matt Fraser doing the same thing with HWPO, and the two of them expanding fitness and impacting more people's lives, probably through that than they may have ever done by virtue of winning the games. And I think Brent now it'd be very interesting to see what he's able to accomplish. Now that you mentioned, Lauren, he can focus on this full time. And I agree 100% with you. I think he is the perfect guy to do that. He's over the past year or so picked my brain on some things. And I'm always incredibly impressed with how much detail and how much data he brings to the table. He goes, "Hey, here, look at all this stuff and tell me what you think." I'm like, okay, I was not prepared for this level of information that you're going to give me for me to consider. So it's going to take me longer than I thought. But yeah, all the best to Brent.
He's the guy that shows up with the big binder and everything is color coordinated, tabbed, highlighted, tabs in the margin.
He had, it was like a question he had for me about one rep max events or max. He goes, and he said, just what do you kind of like? And I was just ready to kind of give him my opinion. And then he gave me this gigantic menu that was like all categorized. I said, okay, that not what I was going to expect. So I clearly have to spend more time with this than I thought I was going to, but credit to him. Like he's so detail oriented and really looking forward to seeing him compete at Rogue. And I think he has a chance to do really well there, but we'll talk about that in a second. So congratulations to Brent Fikowski. I think well-deserved. And he has definitely left his mark on the sport. And Tommy, I was going to ask, but you've convinced me, because I think it's worth a debate, because we always have this whenever someone retires. It's like, is he a Hall of Famer? And after listening to you, I would vote yes.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, I think CrossFit has largely missed the boat in being able to do something like this for the sport and creating a Hall of Fame, right? And even by the most strict qualification standards, he would get it in multiple podiums, multiple wins across a variety of events that had relevancy to the CrossFit Games season. He won events at the games. He won events at regionals. There were times where he would finish events that no one else would finish under time caps with chippers and things like that. Like, event records across the board. I think about, there's the idea of like potential realized. And I often think about Kristen Holta is someone who squeezed every ounce of potential out of her body and performance wise, and she'll say that herself, and people around her are like, yeah, she is maximizing her potential. I think Brent's up there too. I think the effort that went into maximizing his potential, on like down to the minutia, I think would have made a lot of people just walk away, if I'm being honest.
I'll tell you what, I was lucky enough in my sportscasting career to work for a guy in Jacksonville who was on the Hall of Fame committee, Sam Kavaris, who was on the NFL committee. And the way that they do things is whenever someone is up for election in the Hall of Fame, the member of that representative committee that's in that person's town. So if someone from the Jaguars got like Tony Baselli or Fred Taylor was up for a nomination, it'd be Sam's job to go up there and pitch him. And I got some cool stories about that. So if Brent needs someone to pitch him for the Hall of Fame, I think he should definitely hire you. You did a very thorough job of convincing me. Well, as we mentioned, Brent is going to be competing at the Rogue Invitational. And lucky for us, before we get into our buy or sell, we have Rogue Invitational CrossFit events. The Strongman, Strong Women events have been out for a while, but these were announced today, and it's a packed schedule. All right. Event number 1. This is Friday. So 3 events on Friday. You got Quicksand, event number 1. It's 10 rounds of a sandbag carry and a 400-meter run. Okay. That'll be fun. I have no idea how heavy the sandbag is. Yeah, that's, man, you got to know anybody. I'll be like, yep, I'm going to skip that one. Event 2 is North Sea Tiger. This one looks awful as well. 32 or 26 calories on the Echo Bike, 16 ring muscle ups, 8 squat snatches at 225, 160. Yeah. And then 6 shuttle sprints. Again, I'm guessing it's probably the length of the floor. Probably down and back. Okay. Gross. And then event 3, Braveheart. I mean, you got to have an event called Braveheart if you're going to
100%.
Right? 8642 of a wall walk complex. No idea what that means. And a back squat at 375 and 260. That's day 1.
Now we're talking.
Cool.
Goodbye to your quads on day 1.
You're dusted after that. So then we go into day 2. This is Saturday. We got 3 more. Now we only know 2 out of the 3. I might guess. I'm not going to guess because I don't want to be right and then have someone accuses me of knowing because I don't. But event 4, hunting haggis.
That's a great name.
Down and back chipper.
It is.
Yeah, I wish they had one. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. But that's a throwback to a Saturday Night Live skit that many people might not know about. 100 meter, or 1,000 meter row. 30 thrusters at 135.95. Oh. 30 and 20 for the women. Log muscle ups. They had the log. You guys remember that's a throwback to the Dell Diamond days. And then we go back 30 thrusters, 1,000 meter row. Event 5 is Devil's Tail. Ooh. 3 rope climbs, 21 single arm sear bell devil press. So the sear bell is the one that's got the rounded heads on it. It's like that circus dumbbell.
The ones that caught water last year?
No, those were not sear bells. I don't know. I forget what they call those, but the sear bells is what you'll see strongmen and strong women using. It's like that big silver bell with the big
shiny,
round,
polished silver ones.
Yep.
Yeah. They look like they're, from the vaudevillian era.
Exactly. So it's 3 rope climbs, 21 single arm 21 single arm sear barrel devil press. I better
Say that 3 times.
I got to work. Well, I got to work that one out soon before I get on air. 3 rope climbs, 21 single arm sear bell devil press, 3 rope climbs. 170 is the weight. And then event 6 TBA. And then, so now we're through 6 events. Now we go to Sunday and we have 3 more. Again, we know 2 of the 3. We don't know what event 9 is, but event 7, gondola, which is the pegboard. I'm guessing that's at go across because that would be the gondola. Then 60 calories on the ski erg, 60 GHDs, and then you do another pegboard, then 40 calories on the ski erg, then 40 GHDs, and then another pegboard, 20 calories, 20 GHDs, and then a final pegboard. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And then event 8 is tightrope, 3 rounds, 100 heavy rope double unders, a 50-foot single arm sear bell overhead walking lunge, same weight as the last event, 170 pounds, and then a 100-foot handstand walk. And then event 9 is TBA. So there you go.
I mean,
do you think there'll be any type of 1 RM?
Well, I think,
Like
traditionally they've done that.
Press.
Yeah, traditionally I think they've done that. Something like the 1 rep max will probably be,
right. They've done the
Saturday
deadlift.
night.
They did something.
It's usually on that. That's how it's been, I think, mostly in the past. No idea what that could be. But what's interesting to me is I think every year, I don't know if, I can't remember if this goes back to I think it does with the team competition back in the Columbus days. They had the tug of war that was like elimination, but they've always had some sort of elimination style of event. And I don't know, given that you're going to have, the duel, exactly. Given that you're now adding strong women to this and legends, I don't know if you're gonna have the time of the day to pull that off.
Yeah, those ones always did take long.
But you could change the format. Who knows? I don't know.
I am wondering, right? Because they've been posting stuff of them polishing all these stones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of the invert stone.
You got to do something like that. You have to in Scotland.
The invert challenge for strongman is Friday. So I don't know if that would be something that it wouldn't be like a clue, right? Like they're doing the stone Saturday night. Like, I wonder what they could be leaving out, later on. That would be super cool. Yeah. Something like, something like an invert stone or a classical strongman-esque. Cause I think the sandbag from last year kind of give us like, the foundation of like, this could be really cool. So let's see Rogue maybe take that up a notch in a way. That's fun.
Well, last year they did a deadlift too, because the strong men, strong women are starting with that deadlift, which is a great event to watch. Like they always start with that just because it's awesome. The weights that those guys and women will pull. So I don't know if they're going to do, I doubt they'll do the same thing as they did the deadlift last year when you had that great battle. Chandler Smith wound up winning, and then you had, I think it was Roman. Was it Roman? That was a log press. I can't remember who he was going up against. It came down to like the last couple of lifts though. Then I think Danny Spiegel ended up. It took a while. I think it was like Spiegel and Gazan ended up going head to head. I could be mistaken.
They were there. Yep. Tia went surprisingly far without the unbelted.
Yes, that was crazy.
Because of her midsection recovery from pregnancy. That was wild.
But I love the fact that, I don't know, I think Bill Henniger actually posted a shot of the floor on one of his stories, and it looks like it's a pretty intimate setting. Like, I like that a lot. That was the one thing about Dell Diamond that I thought was missing a little bit, is that the stands went away because of the way a baseball diamond is shaped, went away from the field of play. You're going to be right on top of it here. The Dell Diamond was fantastic too, because what was great about that is that you would look at the whole, like the long shot of the field, and you'd have the Rogue coaster and the Tower of Power and the hill. Like, it was just filled with cool looking stuff. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the new floor setup affects the competition. I think it's going to be, I can't wait. Like, it is really going to be phenomenal. And I'm really looking forward to it. But those are the events. Anything stick out to you there, Tommy, that you're really like, ooh, I can't wait to see that one.
For the programming?
Yeah.
There's a couple. I think I'm really curious what the wall walk complex is for Braveheart.
Yeah.
If you name something Braveheart, like it's got to be pretty important, right?
It better be, yeah.
Yeah. Especially with the heavy squat, like, you may squat and you may die. To paraphrase William Wallace. Because they had the back attack event a couple years ago with the 405 back squat. And this is kind of like maybe a rework a little bit.
What was the weight that year?
405 for the men. I think
this is driving me nuts.
It was 405, 275. So, a little bit lighter, but still very heavy. And you're doing more reps. You got 20 reps this time. That one's interesting. I really like both of the sear dumbbell things and then the pegboard. I really want to see the pegboard one. And it's hard to say because, obviously we still have 2 more events, and usually those events have something cool that they're trying to keep close to the vest. It's, you never save the worst gift for last.
No. Well, I think,
okay, guys, mom and dad don't go, hey, we wanted to save this till the end. Surprise, socks from your grandma.
Yeah, that's no.
Aww.
Well, I would not be shocked if if you're going to do some sort of elimination, if they save a sprint for that, because that's just fun fan experience to watch that last sprint. It was Tudor Magda who finished second in the deadlift last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
To Chandler. I think Chandler he had it won because Tudor bowed out at 595 and Chandler went up 610 and hit that. So
So he kind of like gave the like
Chandler time. That was awesome.
Yep. I loved that. That was phenomenal.
So that'll be cool. Anything else you want to add about programming?
I mean, to me, this feels like we're 4 years into it now since the changes when it's no longer a sanctional, but this feels like the programming that I would come to expect from the Rogue Invitational.
Yeah.
Some classic CrossFit implements with some Rogue style twists that highlight both the breadth of equipment that they have, the formats, and the fact that they're not beholden to being like the test to find the fittest, right?
Yeah.
You can throw the 375 back squat. You can throw the log muscle ups in. You can throw, the sear dumbbell in there. You can throw like the lateral pegboards and some cool stuff like that. And yeah, I think this is this is also one of the events where I think athletes enjoy like, hey, this is cool. I've never played with these implements before. Let's check them out. So yeah, this is going to be cool. And I think, I'm really curious to see the layout and how the atmosphere is with the added benefit of knowing that people are going to show up for the strongman events.
Yes, for sure. It's going to be, I think it's going to be cool. And then, you got the Legends events too, which are going to be a lot there, seeing that throw down. All right.
There's got to be stones. There has to be stones.
I don't know how you don't have that in Scotland.
Like you can go to Scotland and there is a map of all the stones that they have there that have strongman like significance, like laid out there, like they're distilleries, and you're searching for single malts. Like, it's true. I could see them doing. I don't know if they're gonna do Atlas stones. Maybe. I think it would be cool to have it not be like an Atlas style stone, like something that's awkward and polished, like replicas of the Denny stone or whatever it may be.
That'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Okay. Before we get into our buy or sell Rogue Invitational Edition, we want to thank our other sponsor for today, and that is Thirdzy, PM Recovery Collagen that helps you rest and recover. So it's now Rest and Recover Collagen. Thirdzy, Rest and Recover Collagen. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't care what they call it. This stuff works. It's absolutely phenomenal. It has, it doesn't have melatonin in it, so it's not habit forming. It's got GABA, L-theanine, magnesium in it. So when you take it, it helps calm your central nervous system, helps you get to sleep faster, and it helps you sleep longer, and you wake up feeling better. I go to bed late. I wake up early. Thanks to Thirdzy, I get to sleep faster. I sleep deeper. My training readiness score, despite training late at night now, is always pretty good because I'm taking my Thirdzy. It is the best way to rest and recover. You take it right before you go to bed. Tastes great. Head hits the pillow about 30 minutes later. You're nice and relaxed, ready to drift off into la la land and wake up feeling great the next day. If you go to thirdzy.com/TEF, you will save 20%. You can also use our code. That's TEF. You will save 20% and you will absolutely improve the way that you rest and recover. Thirdzy, Rest and Recover Collagen. Please give it a try. You will thank us and you will improve.
It can help you on that red-eye flight.
Immense. I doubt that. Well, actually, I don't doubt that. I have a terrible time sleeping, but I'm bringing all my, I am going to be a sleep princess on that plane. I'm going to have my eye mask. I might even have some earplugs with the headphones with the hood on. I might even ask for a blanket, even though that thing is about the size of an oversized napkin and has no weight on it whatsoever. Pillow. I don't know. I'm going to do whatever I can to try and get some sleep on that red eye. And yes, I am going to take my Thirdzy. Thank you for reminding me, because that needs to be like the first thing into the backpack is the Thirdzy thing. I might even take it before I get to the airport. Who knows? We'll see. But yes, definitely taking it
unless you
to help me get over the jet lag
fall asleep
when I actually get into a plane or get into a hotel room when I arrive. So thirdzy.com/TEF, thirdzy.com/TEF, use our code TEF and you will save 20%. Okay, let's get into what we like to do for our competitions here. Okay, and we're going to just jump right in. We're going to do buy or sell. So first one here is buy or sell. Tia Toomey and Laura Horvath will be the top 2 women. We will start with you, Tommy Marquez.
Oh, this one's tough because I'm without knowing for sure where everybody is in the crossroads of training and prep for next year. I think yes. I think given some of the things that we've talked about with the odd implements and the heaviness of some of the weightlifting components, I think they will be the top 2. I think it's going to be close. I think we're going to have a fun podium discussion, but I think especially coming down the wire, you look at like pegboard, upper body grip, cardiovascular endurance, overhead walking lunges, stuff like that. Like that stuff, those are implements that are a little bit different that I feel like Laura's going to smash. And I think Tia, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She's that good at everything. So
you're buying.
I think like things like overlooking things like the back squats going to be really tough for some people, and they're not going to have a problem with it. The squat snatches, the heavy squat snatches for reps are going to be an issue for some people. They're not going to have a problem with it. Yeah, I think they'll be fine.
Lauren, buy or sell?
I'm easily buying this.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, I think who finishes 3rd and 4th is more up for grabs. And that would be something I wouldn't be able to really, or I would have to flip a coin on. But for this, I'm taking all the money and riding on black.
Okay. You're buying. I'd love to say that I could sell this just to make it exciting.
Sell it. Give us the debate.
I don't think
Come
I can.
on.
I can't because it's
who you putting in. Who
no,
you tagging
I don't. If I had to put anybody in, I might put Alex Gazan in.
Yeah,
I might, and I think she will make a serious run. And so I'm going to buy that Tia and Laura are the top 2. But the question that I have now to just make this a little more interesting is, will it be closer between 1st and 2nd, or 2nd and 3rd?
I think Gabby will have something to say with that too.
I just like these. Alex Gazan. I think is someone who's on the ascent, strong as hell, good skill
and
set.
She's not going to suffer with the back squat.
Nope.
The way that some of these other women that I would put in contention, might.
So I think she's got a really good shot. But I don't know. Like, I have a feeling that you're going to see the separation between the top 2, and then it's going to be a battle for 3rd.
I also think that like there's like the unspoken element of Tia and Laura's matchup, right? Like, given what happened last year at Rogue and Laura beating Tia for the first time in live competition in, since forever. And, there being like the almost kind of like unfairly there being unfair to Laura, there being an asterisk of being, like, well, Tia's still on her way back from pregnancy. And then we didn't get to see the matchup at the games, obviously with Laura, withdrawing. And so now it's like, okay, this kind of feels like it, but not really. This is like the grudge match, I don't know. It's like, Sean, when, we have, Macho Man versus, Hulk Hogan. And, the first one was like a really close, like best of 3 pinfalls and each of them got one. And the second one was like a DQ, Miss Terry got in there and hit somebody with a belt and it didn't quite count. So I don't know. I feel like Tia and Laura are going to really elevate each other's performance.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so we're all in agreement on that one. Okay, next up. This one is a fun one for me. I don't know. I just thought this was entertaining. This is an over-under. So over-under, Jason Hopper finishes 7th. Now, the reason this is a thing, because every time Jason Hopper has been at the Invitational, Jason Hopper has finished 7th. So over-under, we'll start with you, Lauren.
I mean, I saw his video practicing the pegboard, so I'm a little bit nervous for Jay.
It's one event.
when it comes to that. Hold on. I'm looking right now. Who do I think is going to finish ahead of him? 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's tough.
I think this is his year. He's gonna break the sevens. He's gonna go over.
You're buying.
Like he's gonna do better. I'm gonna buy him.
You're buying.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So that's not buy. I messed that up. This is you're gonna go
over.
Over. So your bet, is that what we would call it? No, I guess it would be under 7. You're going the under.
He's gonna finish better than 7.
Yeah, so you're going under.
Funny, she's technically taking the over, but by number it's the under.
We'll take the under.
Yeah.
We're going to say under.
Thanks,
she's going to
guys.
finish below. She's going to be 7th or better, right? So we're going to call that the under. Just so we're all on the same page here. Man, I don't know. I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to go over on this one. I think it's going to be close to 7. I think it'll be top 10, but I don't know if it'll be. I think this is the year where some other people might get back in the mix and bump him down just a couple spots. So I'm going over on this one. I think it's still top 10 though. Tommy Marquez.
Tommy.
If we're sticking to gambling terms, I'm going to take a push.
Oh, you're going to go 7th.
I think he's 7th again on the dot.
Okay. There it is.
Lucky number 7.
Yeah. I think the general vibe of this competition, and having the addition of some people like Adler and Chandler to the mix, I think, there's always a bit of chaos in terms of expectations with like leaderboard finishes at Rogue relative to what happens at the games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not uncommon to see some people do a little bit worse than what they did, previously in Madison, and I guess now would be in Fort Worth. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jason was hanging around the top 4, top 5 most of the weekend,
mm-hmm.
and then just a slip up on an odd implement or one of the twists here drops him and he ends up finishing 7th again, like 7th on the dot. Like
that'd be impressive. I don't have we ever seen that with, can you recall anything off the top of your CrossFit Mentat brain where we've seen anybody finish? I mean, you had Panchik with the 6th place, but I don't think it's ever been forced. Has there ever been 4 straight years someone has finished in a major competition in the same spot?
No, not that I'm aware of. I mean, outside of winning, no.
Okay. Yeah. Outside of winning, but
yeah, that's crazy to me. Yeah,
winning aside. So we have seen it, but I think that to me is like a little bit of, I don't want to say easier, but it's than hitting like 7th every time.
Yeah. I look at the people that I think are capable on any given day with a couple of things going one person's way or the other that can finish ahead of them. Adler, Gerard, Fikowski, Vellner, Justin, Dallin, Chandler. That's 7.
Yeah.
And that's not including Sprague because we don't know where he's at. And obviously the pneumonia thing changes it. But that's not saying like, hey, Jason maybe took some extra time off after the games. Like none of this is a reflection of where his fitness is, relative to like the CrossFit Games season. But it's, like I said, it's just a different vibe.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Buy or sell. All Canadian men's podium. All Canadian men's podium. I think I will start. It's up to me now. Oh man. I'm going to buy this. I think it's going to happen.
Oh.
I think it's going to happen. I think Jeffrey Adler has something that he is wanting to prove, and we have not seen him compete since semifinals. I mean, I guess you had the Tier Cup.
We had
as an individual.
Yeah, but
I think he's ready to
even still, he looked like he was he still had a couple gears to give.
I think he's gonna crack open a Labatt's Blue and just grab a beaver tail and just start beating people upside the head with it. Like he's
a Molson Heavy.
Yeah.
A Wildcat.
Exactly.
I don't know why I know so many cheap Canadian
and
beers.
I think it would be like, just because I want this to happen, I want to see Brent Fikowski go out on top. I want to see him finish on the podium. And Pat Vellner has always done extremely well at the Invitational. He's won it in person, and he won the virtual one too. This is a good competition for him for whatever reason. He's been over there kind of getting used to everything, having some time with his family. So yeah, I think it could absolutely happen. I'm buying that. We will go to Tommy.
I'm buying PB&J podium.
Yeah, I love it.
And not only that, I think we're going to get some like WWE style theatrics.
Really?
I think it's going to be close, and I think we're going to have someone like Sam Cornway like dive on the proverbial grenade to like
take one for the Great White North.
Out. I'm just kidding, Sam. But
we love you.
I'm buying the PB&J podium.
Okay.
I think we've been close to it on other events in the past, and it just makes so much sense.
It does
for it to happen.
Right location, right competition, right group, like everything.
Pat and Brent do really well with less. Like, I think two things are true about prep for people that don't prep and people that prep a lot. In Pat's case, he does really well when people have to figure stuff out on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's the guy who literally won chaos at the games. And I think Brent has his system down pat to where that he can prep efficiently in short order as well under those same circumstances.
Agreed.
Two very different ways to the same success. And I also think that Adler right now is just on another level.
Yeah. Agreed.
So
Lauren.
We're buying it.
It's unanimous.
A new era, the end of an era, and I want the three Canadians on the podium in kilts drinking syrup shots. That is what the people want.
Okay.
Yes. Whew. We need to make it happen.
All right. I think it's a good chance. Really good chance. Okay. Since we did a seventh place for male athlete, we're going to do seventh place for a female athlete. And this is who I picked. So over, under being you're going to finish better than seventh. Over, you're going to finish worse. Danielle Brandon, over, under finishes seventh. So just for perspective, let me call up her finishes here for the past couple of years at the Invitational. So she was seventh last year, 9th in 2022, and 11th in 2021. She's improved every year. She's gone from 15th to 11th to 9th to 7th. We'll start with you, Tommy. Back to you.
Yeah, that's tough. I want to, I believe that she has made improvements, and it's hard to get that visual out of my head of the back attack event and her really struggling with that. And that's just something that has not been her thing, especially with some of the back issues that she's experienced in her career. It's tough because it's coupled with something like wall walks that it just comes so naturally and easy to her.
You can always go push again. I'm offering you a way out here.
Nothing's changing. Yeah. Everybody's staying the same. God,
it's hard.
7th, buy or sell.
This is over under.
Over under. I have 8th stands out in my head.
So you're going over.
8th. I'm going to go under by a point.
Well, you're going over. We're calling it the over. Over.
Up is down, left is right. Dogs, cats living together.
We're in Scotland. Don't they use the metric system, so we may as well change ours up as well. All right, 7th. You're going over 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. Lauren.
I think she's going to do better than 7th.
Ooh,
after back attack, she's looking for vengeance. She was so pissed after that.
Well, part of the reason she was pissed is that we had a camera on her for a good portion of the event because she was struggling, which when you see a big name athlete having trouble, that often happens.
Absolutely.
So she was like,
obviously,
why are you doing this to me? Yeah, so that was part of it. But I think...
Please take the camera off of me.
Cover
it's like when you're in class and people are clapping and you're the last one standing.
Just leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Let me die in peace.
I just want to suffer by myself.
Right.
Yep. So you're going
TV,
under.
I'm betting on you. I'm betting on you. I know that you're coming for vengeance on the back squatting one. And the other vets, I think, look pretty good for her. So,
Yeah. All right. There's been a pattern. She has improved every year by a pretty steady clip. I think it was 4 spots and 2 spots and 2 spots. I think she's improving by 1 spot. I think she finishes in 6th place. So I'm going to go under. Danielle Brandon finishes 6th place.
So we almost netted to a push because you say 1 spot better. I said 1 spot below.
Worse.
Yeah.
So you average it out.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Now we go back to the men. This is another, I don't know. Okay, we'll see what we say. Buy or sell. Justin Medeiros finishes inside the top 5. He has won this competition the only 2 times he's been there. Lauren.
Yes, he did. Sorry, I was trying to think of when the last time we saw him compete was. It was at SoCal. Yeah, I think that he does. I will buy this.
You're buying this.
I will buy this.
All right.
Yep, even with PBG on the podium. PB and J. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Inside top 5. Maybe 5th. I think 5th.
You think, but that's inside top 5. So you're buying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll go to me. I don't know. This is hard for me. He's obviously done very well at this competition. The only 2 times he's won it both times. Had to battle. I think it was a couple years ago. He had that, Pat Vellner. It came down to, what was it? Heavy Grace that they did.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah. Can I pass and kick it to you, Tommy? Or do you have an answer yet?
I'm buying.
You're buying. Okay.
I have him in 5th.
You do?
Yeah. I think he's actually very good with some of the implements, like the back squat for reps. He's like very sneaky strong in that. I also think he does really well with the curveball type stuff as a very athletic person when it comes to the curveballs that have been thrown at Rogue typically, whether it's odd object, awkward strongman implements, things like sandbags and logs and all that jazz. Just from what I've seen from him out of his training, it looks like he's, not necessarily like peaking, but his strength is there. He's hitting good numbers on some of his off-season stuff. And he's moving at a good clip. And yeah, I think 5th feels like a good finish for him here.
Okay.
So assuming that I'm taking the PB&J podium and my top 5 is the PB&J podium, Dallin in 4th and Justin in 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Okay. I'm going to keep it interesting. I'm going to sell. I think he's outside the top 5. Not by much.
So where? Where is
I think
he
he's in
living?
the top 10. I think he's in the top 10. That's my safety answer. I don't know. I love the kid. I love his family. They're such cool people. And I don't know. I'm just going to keep it. I just want to be a little different here. And I just have a feeling that it's just not going to happen. I hope I'm wrong.
Sure.
Okay. So it's 2-1 on that. Okay. Last one. I guess I'll start on this one. This is buy or sell. Taylor Williamson will be the top finishing online qualifier. So Taylor got in through the online qualifier. Of all the people who qualified, this is men and women, she'll be the top finishing. And just because I have kind of a personal bias here, I guess, I'm buying the hell out of this. I think I'll never forget. I had to go to Davenport, Iowa one time. My mom was visiting her best friend who was unfortunately not feeling well. So we had to go, we visited her. I went with my mom and I went to CrossFit OC3 and they were that OC3 team was working out there at the time and Williamson and Nisler were both there. And I was watching them train and I was like, these people are absolute savages. And that was obviously before the Mayhem thing and before Andrea and Taylor became, I think, sort of the Pippen and Jordan of the teammate side for the women.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Taylor Williamson's going to make some noise at the Rogue Invitational. So I'm all on this. I'm buying it. Tommy.
Give me 1 second. Lauren, do you want to go? I got to look up something real quick.
I'm also
Efforting.
going to buy it. I feel like when people are on teams, their individual skills sometimes get undercut or overshadowed. But as Sean says, she is an absolute savage. And I think that she is going to surprise and impress a lot of people.
I remember walking into that gym in Davenport at OC3. First of all, great gym. And I was in much better shape then than I was now. And I was like, I do not belong in the building with these people because they are it was just,
I am not worthy.
No, it was like, this is a whole different ball game that's going on here. And, I've never been a competitor, but my God, they were crushing it. All right, Tommy, did you get your information?
Yeah, I
Sell it.
I was going to sell it just because
you're selling.
I think selling just because I think Emma Tall or Saxon might.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Didn't think about that. See, you hit me with facts and logic, and now I'm rethinking my whole position here.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I didn't realize Emma Tall got in through the qualifier.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
Emma Tall's also a savage.
I'm sticking. Of course, I'm sticking with Taylor. I think just got a feeling.
I think Taylor might walk away as one of the athletes that like you say like become like the darling of the competition, to use an antiquated term, but like the athlete that has some like amazing moments that everybody walks away be like, damn, I didn't know about her and she's a savage, or damn, like that dude lifted something crazy. And I think back to moments with it was like Danny Spiegel on the log, what Chandler's done at the Invitational for a few years, like athletes whose stock just went up in general from these like eye-popping moments or performances that just like shown in prime time, and I think that could be Taylor.
Agreed. But you're selling. So you're going.
I'm selling.
All right. I like that.
I think across the full 9 events, someone like Emma or Saxon will be able to push higher.
All right. I'm just taking my own personal bias and just a gut feeling I got. I'm riding with that. Tommy is going with facts and logic and evidence-based. So
look, I'm not one to doubt.
Tommy, I don't know.
I'm not one to doubt like Andrea or Taylor because they're both, like you said, they're both savages, and I love watching both of them compete. But yeah, all
right. That is our buy or sell edition for the Rogue Invitational. It's going to be a lot of fun. Any community support we need to get to before we get to our PRs and our no reps?
Nothing off the top of my head.
All right. If you have anything that you guys want us to get the word out on, anybody you're trying to help, any good causes you're trying to get out there, please let us know. Send them to our individual Instagram pages or our Talking Elite Fitness Instagram page. Please include all the pertinent information because we want to make sure that we are sending people to the right spot to get the people that you want to help, the assistance that they need. PRs, no reps. Here we go. I don't know if I have a no rep. I mean, I'll give my no rep after my PR.
I got one.
Go.
I'm gonna no rep Halloween sticklers. So
what does that mean?
Yeah, these are the people that give, like, say there's like an older kid or a teenager there that's dressed up and out trick-or-treating and like, comes up. I saw a few times instances where like, aren't you a little old for trick-or-treating to some kids?
Do it. Give them the candy.
Oh,
They chose fun over partying and they're out having fun. Give them the damn candy. All right. Come on.
Or like, they could be taking a sibling out or whatever, and they're choosing to capture a little bit left of their childhood, whatever it may be, and they put in the effort to put on a costume and be out here. Let them have some fun. Don't be a stickler about that. Not to mention, I think some of the teenagers have some better costumes too, because they have a little bit more experience to put some thought into some stuff. So
Halloween sticklers.
I saw a trio of teenagers that had amazing Star Wars costumes. Amazing. Like a legit Stormtrooper one. And then they were one of them went as Leia, and they went as like the set phasers to stun scene.
Oh,
where like the only time you see them, you set
blasters, by the way. Phasers are from Star Trek. Let's not get
set
that.
their blasters to stun.
Nerd
Sorry.
police.
Yep. But yeah.
Nerd police.
Yeah. The Halloween sticklers. Nah. I got offered candy a few times, taking my wife's little baby cousins out because I was in a costume that had my face covered a little bit. And despite me being a large, clearly pushing 40 male, they were like, "Do you want candy too?" And I was like, "I'm just a chaperone.
Load me up."
I just like pull my fake beard down and they see that there's a real one behind it. And they're like, "Oh, sorry." Good on you.
Lauren, no rep.
I actually don't have a no rep.
Oh, good. All right. Then we'll go right to PRs. I got a PR on my 4-year-old son who took his first step into a larger world of fandom on Sunday. He actually watched the vast majority of he was in the room for the vast majority of the Rams-Seahawks overtime thriller. My wife painted his face because she's trying to get better at face painting, so painted his face like a Rams helmet. He was all into it. And he was disappointed. His favorite player is Puka Nacua. He just likes Puka, right? And Puka Nacua got ejected for throwing a punch.
It was a weak ejection,
so
let's be honest.
It was terrible ejection. So I was trying to explain to him why Puka's not in the game anymore, right? And I said, look, he broke the rules. When you break the rules, you can't play in the game. So okay. And then later on, I think it was like late in the game, he's sitting there with me and he's like kind of just sitting down. He took a break from playing. He goes, "Dad, is Puka not playing?" I go, "No, bud, he's not playing." He just goes, "Shit." And I go, "Sorry, what'd you say, dude?" And he told me, he goes, "I said that because I'm upset." I said, "All right, that's not," I go, "I don't want to freak out." I go, "Okay, that's not a word that we want to say." But inside I'm like laughing. I'm going, "Welcome to being a fan, my son." This is
That's amazing.
So he just like gave a sign and said, "Shit." Like, oh, yes.
And when they use it in the right context, it makes it even
so then
better.
I have to retroactively no rep myself because clearly I have let that word slip in his presence when I have been upset. And I know exactly when it was the other night when I'm trying to I was monkeying with the sink trying to fix it. And something slipped. I went and I said it. And then he was right there and was like, "Oh." And so there you go. But I was like, you've taken a larger step into you've taken a step into a larger world now. You're starting to become
welcome to the rest of your life.
Welcome
kid.
to the rest of your life, kid. So yeah, that was pretty funny. That's my PR. Lauren, do you have a PR?
I am going to PR, yes, houses that give full-sized candy bars.
We got a few of those
on Halloween.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
Full package of sour melons for Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
pack.
my God.
Full pack.
My God. But I guess I'm going to also no rep my 4-year-old nephew because I bring him over to the house that had the full-size candy bars. And like me, my sister and brother-in-law are laughing and we're like, "Oh my God, like what one is he going to get? Like, let's get an extra." And he takes the freaking pirate booty. I was like, "Dude, you have like 50 bags of this at home. The pirate booty or
see, that's where you got to do the old Dr. Rick from the Progressive commercials. I'm sorry, let's run that again if you don't mind.
You fumbled the bag.
You picked wrong.
No.
My parents in recent years have become the full candy bar thing because it's something my dad always wanted to be growing up. He wanted to be the full candy bar house.
There's a great, if you can find him on Instagram, Kyle Kinane, a comedian, love Kyle Kinane, is one of my favorites, does this funny routine about moving into a new neighborhood and wanting to win the people over by being full-size candy bar guy. It's pretty funny.
Yep. I'm going to PR Noah Olsen because he finished an Ironman.
Yes, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
It was a full Ironman, right? Like
full Ironman.
Damn.
And I'm going to preemptively PR to put some pressure on him, Heber Cannon, who is doing an Ironman in a couple of weeks.
Good job, Heber. He'll do it. Heber is. We give Heber some guff, but Heber is one of like the most mentally tough people I know when it comes to getting through.
He's got some intestinal fortitude when it comes to like just chipping away at a gigantic rock that's standing in his way. Like he will definitely stay the course. And yeah, he's running it, I think, a week from this weekend. So not this weekend, but next.
Okay.
So
best of luck, Hebes.
Yep.
All right. PRs and no reps. All right. That's going to do it for today. Up this weekend, of course, the Rogue Invitational. I'll be in Scotland. I'm probably going to be sequestered in a broadcast booth for the majority of the weekend. But if any of you are going to be there and you see me, please come say hi. I love meeting everybody and talking to people. And if you're going to be at the Legends Happy Hour, I'll be there. So please come say hi. I'm going there just to rub elbows with all people who like Annie Sakamoto. I haven't seen Annie Sakamoto in forever. Now to see Annie Sakamoto, who literally lives like 20 minutes from me, I got to go across the Atlantic. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, please say hi if you see me, and keep it on our Instagram channel, because we're going to have a lot of content for you throughout the weekend, keeping you updated on what's going on, because they are now 8 hours ahead of us here on the West Coast because of stupid fall back with the clocks.
Yep.
So I don't know, the time's going to be a little bit different, but hey, if you need to stay up to date, just check out our Instagram page. We'll have a lot of good stuff there. And then next week we'll recap it all for you. Big thanks to our sponsors, Box Basics, shopboxbasics.com. Use that code Scotland. You'll save 20%. That goes through November 15th. And Thirdsy.com/TEF if you want to improve your sleep and your recovery. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. For Lauren Khalil and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other, be better, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Like a kiss at the start of a first date. If it's good, it's good. I don't want to wait. When the feeling's right, I'm taking it.